Hi, in this presentation, we're going to be discussing the interview, persona, and Wireflow portion of our project, Simple Learning. Our team, Group 6, includes me, Natalia Manna, doing the voice recording in PowerPoint, Emilie Weber and Alfredo Bescos creating the personas, user journey map, and scenario, Alyssa Aguilera doing interviews and user findings, and David Etherage doing the Wireflow. Once again, our problem statement is college students frequently encounter frustration and confusion while navigating learning management system mobile apps. To begin our research, our interview questions were: Can you walk me through how you currently use your school's learning management system LMS mobile app? Have you experienced any challenges or frustrations while using the LMS mobile app? If yes, what are they? Have you ever switched to a desktop or another platform because the mobile app wasn't working for you? If so, why? Are there any parts of the app that feel confusing or unintuitive to you? Are there any LMS apps or similar educational platforms you find easier to use? What do you like about them? And finally, do you feel that the app accommodates your needs in terms of accessibility, for example, readability, notifications, or offline access? Our first user is a 23-year-old woman who's a graduate student and works full time. She lives in Miami, and some of her hobbies include cooking, reading, and playing games. In concern to the questions, she mainly said that she doesn't really use her college's LMS mobile app due to it being visually polluted and confusing when submitting tests and assignments. Additionally, the email notifications were not helpful to her as you can't see the email display when you click on it. You have to actually log in to the LMS app or Canvas in this case, and therefore it causes an extra unnecessary step. Our second user is a 21-year-old man who's a undergraduate student and works part-time. He lives in Miami, and some of his interests include listening to music, going to the beach, spending time with his family, and exercising. The second user, actually differently from the first, uses their LMS mobile app quite often, specifically for their to-do list and to look at emails. However, he had issues seeing messages where he would see notifications, but then they wouldn't direct him to what it concerned, therefore being useless. As he described, I get notifications about messages, but they don't show up in my inbox. It's so frustrating. In addition, he also had difficulties opening documents and thus found it too slow and switched to the desktop version. Our third user is a 23-year-old woman who's a graduate student and works full-time with an income of $65,000. She also lives in Miami. The third user is actually a halfway point between the first and second user. They mainly don't use the app version of Canvas, their LMS app, except for to look at due dates, but never for submitting assignments. However, they also pointed out how it can be slow in opening documents. They actually related that I prefer desktop because I can have multiple tabs open, like a rubric and an assignment at the same time. In conclusion, we found that the most common app was Canvas, and it's mainly used for looking at assignments but not turning them in, mainly because the app struggles with loading as well as accessing their notifications. However, the accessibility is well received, but the way the app is laid out was an issue for many users and its navigation, such as opening the dashboard and it taking over the whole screen. Additionally, most students prefer Canvas, but the last user did prefer Edmodo due to its accessibility in talking to other students. Our three personas consist of Emilie, the overwhelmed graduate student, Carlos, the multitasking undergraduate, and Sophia, the structured planner. All three have either high or moderate tech proficiency and desire an e-learning platform that manages their coursework, makes it easy to check emails, is stress-free, and is also able to load assignments well enough for them to confidently turn them in. The scenario we made was Carlos, a part time student and part time retail worker, relies on his university's LMS mobile app to stay updated with coursework. He gets a notification about a message from his professor, but when he opens the inbox, it's not there. Frustrated, he switches to his desktop to check it. Later, he tries to submit an assignment, but the navigation is clunky and unintuitive. He struggles to find where to upload it and barely submits before the deadline. He wonders why the mobile app isn't as easy to use as social media apps. Therefore, our solution, the first one was resolving missing inbox notifications. In creating persistent notification banners and live indicators. Second solution was a simplified navigation by fixing navigation bars and quick access shortcuts and floating action and creating a floating action button. Our next solution was a multi-tab functionality by creating swipeable tabs with visual indicators such as colors or boxes. And lastly, we plan on creating an app with a faster loading time. A lot of users had issues in loading their documents and assignments, emails in general, and it was the main issue for people not using their LMS mobile app. And therefore, by utilizing skeleton screens to visually show loading and lazy load content, it allows for this issue to be mainly resolved. Our affinity diagram includes our main issues, which were, once again, missing inbox messages, managing coursework without added stress, and delayed notification and assignment loading. Our solutions, as I described, were instant message syncing, therefore eliminating missing inbox notifications due to delayed notifications, as well as faster loading times. So, optimizing loading times for quick access, even for larger files. Our features and function ideas were simplified navigation, by clearly labeling and easy to locate menus for assignments, inbox, and grades. And lastly, our last idea was a multi-tab functionality. It enables users to view assignments and rubrics side by side, and therefore rubrics are not hidden, which was also an issue that an user brought up. Our Wireflow consists of the login page where one can put their username and password. Once they successfully log in, they can see the dashboard, which includes the first button, the inbox, the assignments button, and their grades button. Once they click on the inbox button, they can see all of the messages they have, either that be from students or um, or professors or classes in general, similar to a social media app, which was the purpose of our app to be more intuitive to college students who are very familiar to social media apps. The second button consists of the assignments button. You can see all the assignments you have due, and by clicking on it, you can actually see the description as well as the rubric right next to the description on a button on the top right. Therefore, this eliminates the issue of having to open a desktop to be able to see the rubric as well as the description for the assignment. In addition, it also allows for you to quickly submit an assignment without slower loading times. And lastly, the last button is the grades button, where you can see all of the grades for all of the assignments you have turned in. We hope to make this more specific to each class and therefore make it more intuitive and easier to navigate and less confusing or overwhelming. And therefore, our app, Simple Learning, is meant to create a stress free zone for students who are often overly accumulated with work as well as working and having to deal with school all the time. It's important um, when they're completing their schoolwork for something to be very intuitive and easy access without long loading times. Thank you.